happy to see. I think I'm dying here, man.
Through the haunted mansions and floors, the creep, they lead us to the places from which we dare not peek. A journey through fear and the realm of the night. In every word they speak, our hearts ignite with fright. Welcome to the horror show, the Deep Cut Podcast, where nightmares come alive, ready to take their blow. Tune in to the chilling delight on the airwaves of the night. Let the darkness grow. Let the darkness grow.
Aw, yeah. It's that time again for another bi-weekly podcast with your hosts, Rotten Roger DeMarco and...
Good work, Zombie Arm. Evil Dead Inks, live and in your face, living color.
Booyah. Here we are, another 2 weeks down, back in the cabin yet again, sitting here, and it felt appropriate, right, to
Yeah,
essentially christen the cabin with a
cabin movie.
Yeah, that takes
Since
place
we
in a
can't
cabin.
do the Evil Dead, so we've already did all of them, but Evil Dead Rise.
We'll circle back. But that doesn't even take place in a cabin.
Yeah, but I mean, this movie literally takes place in the Evil Dead cabin with the Evil Dead cellar, the Evil Dead the swing.
Yeah, it's pretty much...
This movie just needs Bruce Campbell as a janitor.
would have been perfect to have Bruce Campbell working with the two guys.
The company, yeah.
Yeah, with the company. But that's right. This week, we are talking about the one and only, the cult classic, if you will, Cabin in the Woods.
It's a slept-on one. I felt like it was one that weirdly went under the radar.
It did.
And the cover art works, but if you didn't know what you were getting into, I would not have picked it up.
Yeah, I think you would think it was like a Saw type of movie.
Yeah. Definitely something that was just like run-of-the-mill. Like,
yeah. But this is a really, really good horror comedy. Pretty much like the best homage or tribute, whatever fancy word you want to throw at it, right? For
not a word, but I think the way I heard that sounded really good is how to redo what the formula was for Scream, but actually doing it in a new and original way.
Yeah.
That everyone thinks they're doing, but they're not, but they actually are here. And I did get a few tidbits of trivia on this. This will flabbergast you.
Okay.
And annoy you probably at the exact same time.
Oh, no. What do you got?
How long do you think it took them to write this particular film?
Just because I feel like I have a grasp on...
Take everything in consideration.
10 years.
Plot line.
I'll say 10 years, even though it's a...
To write it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I would say. And that's me, I'm kind of shooting for the stars on that, because I kind of feel like this is the idea you have as like a 17-year-old kid, and then you...
Give me an over-under then. 10 years, you say, is your most? What would you say is the least amount of time? Is it like, what's the most rapid pace you could write this movie out in?
Well, like with redrafts and stuff, maybe a year is kind of like...
Okay.
That's how maybe professionals do it. I don't know, because I'm not a professional. All I know is it took like 3 months to write Tapehead, and I'm not a professional, so I just kind of assume something like that, like, a year.
3 days.
3 days and a lot of cocaine, or... Yeah, just straight up hammering it out like Wes Craven.
Yeah, with no eyelids.
Yeah,
in the
driving
back of
a
Michael
van.
Berryman's van.
That's a Wes Craven's New Nightmare reference. Deep cut.
That's a double deep cut, because that's not even in the movie.
No, that's that's a special feature, original draft. not never made
That's
it.
if you're in
anywhere.
the hour 5 mark of Never Sleep Again, you're
Yeah.
gonna see that.
That's a real deep cut.
Yeah.
That's how we do it here.
Yeah, 3 days, and if you can tell when you watch it if you were a fan of either the first Avengers movie or if you were a fan of the Buffy/Angel universe. Of course, Joss Whedon is a dirty name now, but he definitely had a style and dialogue,
Yeah.
and like kind of in his own way. You could identify a Joss Whedon movie, and this was definitely very Joss Whedon-esque.
So why is he a dirty name? I'm not privy, I guess. I don't know what's
From what
going on.
little bit I've acquired of knowledge, apparently he was just one of those either like I can't remember if it was more tyrant or more of a creeper on his days filming the Buffyverse.
Well,
I've just heard a lot of
not good.
those negative, like
Dan Schneiderisms or whatever you want to say.
yeah. I just know it's not cool to be Joss Whedon anymore.
Yeah.
Which I always thought he had the hairstyle of an absolute like creeper.
Of a douche, or just like
Because he's got like that, that horseshoe, but he's got just some hair up top, but the hairs up top are like short and stringy, so it's kind of got that like weird, like just cut it the fuck off.
yeah, just embrace it.
Yeah, either
Inner Jason Statham, baby.
either shave it or get a do the shoot 'em up thing, just grow a ponytail with the excessiveness. But it's just like 7 hairs on the very top. That's just kind of got that flop sweat look to it.
Ew. Yeah.
You're like at any moment he could turn and it could take a second for it to
Like Ponytail from Tango and Cash, which we were just talking about Tango and Cash.
take about 100,000 less hairs and put it directly on the very top of your head, like almost like to where you would identify where forehead starts meeting top of head. That weird
I
spot.
can relate. That's why I wear a hat.
This movie is also apparently what gave or inspired people to hire Hemsworth to be Thor.
Really?
They apparently really liked his last lines before he hits the imaginary wall or the invisible wall.
Don't hold back.
Big fucking guns.
I never do. So good.
Yeah, this movie gives reason, absolute reason to everything you were ever like that we would ridicule in every other movie. Like we are in the middle of the swamp with no, blankets or anything. Time to get naked.
Yeah. Time to go fool around.
We should definitely split up and look for a way out of here. We will cover more ground.
I love the pheromone spray.
It feels very, very like, man. I feel this place just need the company needs that dude from The Blob that had his bar at the back of his trunk.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's like, she can't get busy. It's too cold. Turn the fucking heat up. I can't see nothing. Increase star, light,
Yeah.
all this stuff. It's like just yeah.
Yep. Got to have your also your liquid courage, a little Hawaiian punch and whatever 180 proof vodka or whatever.
Yeah, everyone in this movie is not playing the stereotype, but they start becoming the stereotype by design. Mm-hmm. It's all orchestrated, and it's funny that the stoner of the group is the one that you think is just talking because he's high, but he's actually they're giving away the game if you're paying attention, which I definitely fall victim to it a lot of times when opening credits are telling you something, but unless you're paying attention, it's just you're just like words.
People in
Words.
this town drive in a very counterintuitive manner.
Like, just get to the shit, man. I'm not here to read a book. Show me a movie. But they're showing us from Jump Street like this is an orchestrated, very planned out, global thing.
Yeah, it's super well done too.
Which kind of angers me in other spots because it's like, how did this movie, this should be a movie one of us would have been like, hey, you need to see this.
Yeah.
But nothing on this. This was entirely a blind buy.
Really? For you it was?
Yes. I can't even tell you exactly when. It was just one of those things, out and about.
Megan and I saw this in theaters.
Really?
Yeah, we went to the theaters for this, and we we were completely blown away by this movie. Like, obviously, like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to horror fans. Like, we were so on board with this movie. And it seemed like it took a while to come out on home video. And when it came out on home video, nobody talked about it. And we were like day one, pick it up on Blu-ray because we were that jazzed.
Yeah, I just picked this up blind at the stock, and it was like, it was a time period where I was just getting movies, and they were $5. So
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
You got the Blu-ray then?
No, DVD.
Still just, oh, okay.
Straight up just DVD. Didn't know what I had.
Yeah, man. This is a sleeper. It really is, because
I feel like it's getting recognition now, because
it's over a decade old now, right? Like something like that. So
it's 2011, so yeah, we're beyond on a decade, almost a decade and a half.
that's wild to me.
Yeah, and I know it's gotten ground when I know we're not the first podcast to cover this one, and I can find information about it. It's not like Muck, let's say, where it's kind of I'm searching through Muck to find anything.
You're not going to find anything. No,
I won't find anything.
No.
But you'll find stuff. This is another movie that benefits if you're a fan of, like, oh gosh, pause, and just need to look at everything.
Yeah.
Because this is a deep cuts of a movie with
constantly,
the amount of shit that's on the whiteboard that could happen, and then, like, of course you want to pause when you get all the, it feels like 13 Ghosts, all the cells of every different type of
that's an excellent
creature killer thing.
Yeah.
And how they're like it's like the great value choice of everything. Like, we don't have Hellraiser, but we got this guy that has saw blades in his
looks
face.
like Matt Frewer with saw blades in his face. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Max Headroom in hell.
Yeah.
We
very
have
much
such
like we don't
sights to show you.
very much the we can't quite get copyright clearance versions of all the monsters for sure.
We got the Lament sphere.
Yeah, it's a sphere. It's not quite a cube or whatever you want to call it, but
It's a ball.
yeah. I was trying to say, we were just talking because we just watched this the other day. Megan and I were discussing this movie, and I don't know how you feel, because I know we talk a lot about this, how some movies, they're bloated. Seems like just to be bloated or to make that ticket price worth it, right? Like some movies.
This is a straight 90-minuter.
And it was because right before that, because another movie that I got for my birthday with my birthday money was The Faculty, which is a tie-in to this movie. So we were watching The Faculty, and my wife was like, "You see how, like, The Faculty, like the pace it plays out, like it is introducing us to all these characters.
Character types too.
We're getting to spend a lot more time with these characters before they're thrust into the alien invasion. Really, like, you kind of get to understand who they all are a little bit more than you do in Cabin in the Woods." And Megan and I were talking, and she's like, "I think Cabin in the Woods would benefit from another 20 minutes before they went to the cabin, so we could kind of get to see who they really are before the."
I'm kind of good not going more with them, like, because we get a good explanation from our stoner character.
You want
of
more
like,
of
like
company?
him just straight up explaining, like, that's like he has a he's in these certain classes, like he's not a egghead, they're friends and whatnot. But I think what is unique here is The Faculty is its own deep cut in here, because it's often, I don't know if it's ever been confirmed, but it's referred to as the failed experiment of 1998.
Spoiler alert, it is. It just is.
But unlike The Faculty, I don't feel, even though Robert Patrick is always cool, and I can't think of her name from Frasier, Frasier's ex-wife. It'll hit me way later, but she's the one with the long dark hair in The Faculty.
Famke Jensen?
No.
Selma Hayek?
No.
The other one that's not Selma Hayek.
Yes. The one that...
principal or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck, what is her name? That is just gonna...
Lady with long hair who they dump all the drugs on.
Oh, they know you.
Yeah.
But unlike, different from this movie is you, at times, at least I feel torn between you want to see them survive and escape, but you get really attached to Richard Jenkins and dude from Revenge of the Nerds 2.
Oh yeah, and Billy Madison. You see that guy's balls? They're weird looking.
You get so kind of invested in their story, you kind of want their half to succeed as well. So you're like, it's weird to be torn on which one do I want to go with.
Oh no, I'm with you 100%. And so maybe that extra 20 minutes
I would put on them.
Yeah, or 10, split it down the middle, give us 10 and 10.
Which again, it makes sense when you've rewatched it, but when you're going from how this movie starts, you're like, what? Where the hell am I?
You're gonna help me liberate my cabinets? Are you even listening to me?
Yeah, because we're in a ruins kind of credit sequence, and then we go straight into Office Space.
Yeah.
But man, these guys are the gems of this movie. The stoner is cool. The ending of this movie is dark and mildly confusing to me in one spot.
Which spot would that be? Well, I mean,
when we get to our final two characters,
yes,
and she is for a hot minute convinced to kill him, and then he is like cool with letting her die. Again, I'm like in between. I'm like, am I supposed to be like, yay for her to kill him, yay for him to kill her? And then they both just are like,
fuck it.
Yeah, and just sit down. I was like, they got over that way quickly. I love you, but I'm going to need a little time if you are just going to be cool with letting a wolf just tear into me. A werewolf
chew you up, yeah.
Yeah, like, yeah.
Well, I'm running away.
Forever.
Right, I'm running away like David Naughton. American Werewolf in London.
I just hear...
I gotta go back.
I just look up and your hat's still like where you are.
Like spinning, yeah.
Yeah, there's a dust trail following another 90 feet down that way. Yeah, that ending just is like, all right, they're cool. I mean, I like, it's one of the few times, I'm usually not a big bleak ending fan, but this one I'm all right with.
Yeah, I like it. The only true issue with the ending of this movie for me is when it ends this way, it kind of paints us into a corner. Like we talk about it a lot with like when you kill off a villain or whatever, it's like, well, how do you can't retroactively fix that? Like with Leatherface, all the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, like, oh, let's cut his arm off. Well, now he can't fucking wield a chainsaw for a sequel, dummy. You got to go prequel.
Now you do some McConaughey shit.
Yeah.
Strap some vacuum cleaner hoses to a severed
bunch
arm.
Bunch of remote controls. But
yeah, make it work that way.
So the only issue really with the ending of this movie is it was so fucking good and slept on. So granted, it probably wasn't going to get a sequel, but had it...
You could always go prequel.
Yeah, like, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, had this movie took the world by storm and it had an open-ended ending... We could have potential Cabin in the Woods 2, 3, etc., etc. So now the only route we can go is prequel, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
But it's been 11 years and we haven't gotten one. I'd be fine with a Netflix series or whatever.
At a certain point, I don't think people age too much, like in the face and shit. So I think our two Office characters could still probably pull this off and look exactly the same to me. Richard Jenkins, I've only discovered like within the last probably 15, 20 years. And it feels like he was is perpetually always the same
he
age.
Always looks exactly like that.
Which the first thing I saw him in was it was like an FX made for that network movie where he's like old Southern racist and his son is trying to
sounds about right.
Get him not to be.
Get you not to be racist.
Get you not to be.
Fucking Hatfields and McCoys, what the hell?
I just remember like seeing his face there and like that's where it stuck, and then
Ned Kelly story.
Yeah, and then seeing him, of course, in Step Brothers, and
you will fix the fucking drywall now.
He's very good at dropping the F-bombs because like just like in this movie, it's priceless for him to be like this close to a screen full of children. Fuck you. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
It's because he's like a sweet old man, so he nails it. Just nails it.
Some people can deliver good words like that. Well, like some people have like a key word. He just can say fuck really well.
Yeah, as opposed to
we build bunk beds. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, as opposed to like and I'm not taking anything away from him, but like a William Forsythe or a Sid Haig, who I kind of suffer from the same thing. It's like when I am at a loss for words or am having trouble expressing myself, they slip in. You know, it's like the Insane Clown Posse song "Fuck the World," like fuck, like a million of them. They just start.
I feel like it's like a version of a cough or clearing the throat.
Yeah.
It's
a tick.
It's just your replacement of like or
yeah,
which I can get like which one you been annoyed by or fuck
yeah, whatever. I mean, and you got to choose wisely around the crowd you're around. But
yeah,
you know, when you got a fountain of F-bombs, they can lose their impact. We talked about that when we talked about the Rob
Three
Zombie
from
movies.
Hell.
Yeah, there's just so many to where it's not even cool like Scarface, because Scarface is cool.
It sounds like a 16-year-old that just learned the words and has to utilize it in every sentence of every minute of every day.
Yeah, whereas what'd you say his name? Richard Jenkins has a very unique way of just bringing it in every once in a while, so it has some impact.
Shut the fuck up!
Yeah. And that whole thing, too, with all the different places, right? Tokyo failing,
Yeah.
Berlin
How hard is it to
or
kill a
whatever.
bunch of 11-year-olds?
Yeah. Oh, man. And sidebar, I know you're not a J-horror guy. Really.
No.
Anybody watching
But
/ listening.
But it looked fucking amazingly funny. Like praying and holding hands.
Every fucking J-horror movie does that. They all do. They all get to some spot where you got to do some stupid thing, and you're either like you're gonna turn it into a raccoon, you're gonna turn it into a frog, whatever. And there's always little kids, and that's a weird J-horror thing, man. And I mean, there's exceptions to the rule, but that happens a lot more than you think. So when they did that in that movie, out loud, when I saw it in theaters, I was like, ha ha, yep.
And this was in 2011, so is that still in the J-horror
The boom?
phase? I can't.
Well,
it feels like
J-horror was earlier too,
08,
like
09?
up to about there.
I know it feels weird to be nitpicky on like 2 or 3 years, but I feel like it matters here.
Oh, it does, because the climate of horror was changing.
It's not a remake. It's not Japanese.
Yep, it's original. It's its own thing.
Yeah.
David S. Pumpkins reference, deep cut, and also a Hatchet.
I was thinking Hatchet, but
Yeah.
that works for the Pumpkins band too.
Yeah, because there was like a 4-year span where horror jumped through a lot of hoops. It was remakes, like specifically just plain remakes. Mm-hmm. Then it was torture porn. Then it was J-horror. And then it kind of...
Like reimagining reboots
Yeah,
again?
That'd be the,
or the
08, 09, 2010 era.
And like the legacy sequels.
That's where we're at now. And we're not ever going to shake it.
But I'll take that over. Like, I definitely got tired of the superhero phase.
That's still going too, but
I think it
feels like it's waning.
It is way, way, way down now.
Yeah.
It is nowhere near where it was.
Fingers crossed it stops for a while. I mean, I guess it doesn't affect me, so I don't care.
Minimalize it. That's all I want. Just,
if you like it, you like it.
Shorten it down a little bit. Too much of anything is no longer a good thing.
Yeah. Circling back to superhero stuff, we do have Mr. David Hemsworth? Chris Hemsworth. David Hemsworth. Who the fuck's David Hemsworth?
I don't know no David.
Me neither.
Nor snakes.
Chris Hemsworth in this movie. This is like Red Dawn era, right? The Red Dawn.
This is
remake?
pre-Red Dawn. I think this is what got him either. It was either Red Dawn or it was Thor. One of the two. Like his speech from this kind of broke the door and got him into there. But apparently behind the scenes, our stoner character, the reason he doesn't go swimming, or you don't see him shirtless. He's always got a shitload of layers on. Mm-hmm. Apparently he was wicked ripped. And they're like, we can't have...
Fran Kranz, he's jacked.
Yeah, like, we can't have the stoner character looking as ripped as, the son of Odin over here.
Yeah. Yeah, sidebar. Fran Kranz is the man. Fran Kranz is the man. That's
This is the first time I've ever seen him anything. I still need to see. I want to see his movie Bloodsucking Bastards, the vampire / Office Space.
I don't know that
movie.
one.
I know I've seen the previews for it, and it's been on streaming services somewhere, but I've never gotten to see it. But this kind of was the big. Everyone else is like, Hemsworth is the breakout star. I'm like, nah, I like this other guy a little bit more. He's the one you want to see actually survive this thing. And it's weird that the stoner character kind of is endearing to you because, man, does he smoke
a lot
non-stop in this movie. Starting with that amazing bong that transports into a thermos.
A huge bong in your father's RV? What are you, high?
Which apparently, I found out that cost $5,000.
They did
to make that thing.
For a while, they were making those.
And believe me, after we saw it, we're like, is this real? And can we get one? Because it would just be cool just to do that at a red light. Even if you're not doing anything with it.
Yeah, right in front of a cop. Crink.
Yeah.
Hey, I got my coffee right here.
And he gets done smoking that shit, gets right into the camper, and starts rolling mold.
Yeah, he's a constant burnout. But yeah, you're right, though. They do make him super endearing. He's very, he's the comic relief, but like he's spot on the whole time.
But he's not like,
oh, he's not Chuck and Chili.
No,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
No, like lines with like when they're all daring each other to look at shit in the basement. He's like, I dare everyone to go upstairs.
Yeah. Make out with that moose over there, whatever that mysterious beast is. Like he's just fun. He's a fun character.
He actually has a line in this that I really like. That I every time I
you're gonna get it tattooed on you because it's something I think I know what you're saying.
I get it wrong every time. When I rehear it, and I'm like, oh shit, I actually say it wrong. But I go, oh, the railroad's coming soon. They're gonna pave this road with actual road. But it's street.
Streets paved with actual street. Fucker.
I love that line, but I always say road paved with actual road.
You were rude to my friend. What, that whore? Yeah, I watched.
What line are you thinking? Is that the line you're thinking of?
No, well, I love that line. Don't get me. But I'm going to get a small cabin tattooed on me with "We are not who we are." Because I love
the puppets.
Yeah, little puppet dance. Did you say Pop-Tarts? Pop-Tarts. I see. Again, I'll quote him this entire hour, but.
He's the only one really kind of worth quoting there. Outside of our two, office workers.
Husband's bulge. But no, I was talking about Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Prior to him being
okay,
Thor.
You saw this in the theater.
Yeah.
Was this just a private screening, or did you make it? Was this like?
Oh no, we went to an actual. Well,
okay.
We went to an actual theater. We went to Star Cinema in Council Bluffs, Iowa, about 45 minutes away.
Okay.
And there was about 9 people in the theater.
Okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
What was the reaction when he hit that fucking wall?
Everybody laughed.
Do you think the bird ruined that potential, surprise? I've heard that that's a complaint among some. I don't have an issue with it, and I can understand why it's there.
So, yes and no, right? Because it sets it up for us. But sometimes I have a problem with that. Sometimes I have a problem with feeding the audience a little too much. I feel like we already know enough because we are in with the engineers and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So to not know what tricks they have up their sleeve also allows for some suspense. So showing that is a problem. But I've seen this movie so many times that I can't officially remember my initial thought of my first viewing of that, because it still got me. I'll tell you that as much. Like him,
yeah, it still worked. I remember it still
because
working.
you're like, he can't make it, but then they do that whole really good job of him with his speech, and then I never hold back, and the whole deal, and
like such a oh god,
yeah,
let's go,
yeah, because it's
it's a little Dumb and Dumber. Okay, kill him.
Yeah. What if he shot you in the face? But it's paying tribute to a little lesser known sequel. I mean, people know it, but don't watch it often because it's not as good. But Hills Have Eyes Part 2. It's kind of giving you a little bit of that tribute because those guys are motocross guys, and they've got like and that's what that bike even being on that RV is a tribute to is Wes Craven, 100%. So, and they do a bunch of crazy bike shit. So,
bike shit. I think of Pumpkinhead.
Yeah, that's also those two movies. But like,
you don't have a whiteboard long enough to put down every movie that is referenced.
But
here.
I mean, when you see that motorbike, like I always butcher the term because it's not Schrodinger's because that's
Schrodinger's cat.
Yeah, that's something that you don't see but you know is in the thing. But like, what am I saying? Chekhov, like it's Chekhov's gun, right?
Yeah.
So like, to show that motorbike on that RV and not use it would have been a crime. So to see it, you go, well, of course it has to come into play. Only a good movie will show you something. A good movie will show you something that is just supposed to be innocuous, and then they'll come back and use it. And that's one of the best sequences in the movie because, like, you have the whole tension, too, with the people, the engineers. Like, the bridge is supposed to be blown. Well, we didn't get the order. That whole, like, cat and mouse running back and forth and then them going. And
they celebrate awfully early.
Oh, yeah. They're ready to be like, we did it. No, you didn't at all.
Oh, feel that rumbling? That means good.
Yeah, the audience is getting rowdy.
They make this same assumption that they hope we make of just hopefully not acknowledging that, like, well, we didn't see him die. Did he die?
And I brought that up the other day when we were watching it. I'm like, so the engineers, they got duped like the audience gets duped with most when you're watching a horror movie and you get an
so
off-screen kill.
On.
Yeah, and you have the off-screen kill. Like,
yep.
They just assume. And they have cameras all over the place, so they could have just changed camera angle to confirm.
They can do anything here.
But they're like, yeah, good enough.
And it's great how to take effects. Like, I don't take this. I'm going to take a walk.
Yeah.
Join us.
Perfect.
But speaking of kills and deaths, who do you give the infamous brown panty achievement to this week?
Oh, we're moving on to the brown panty achievement.
Oh, baby. It's time to slip into something a little more comfortable. It's time for the Brown Panty Award.
I have to give it to the
Jenkins, baby.
Both the engineers, because man, the other. I wish I could remember his name, but I just know him from Revenge of the Nerds. I guess he was also on The West Wing. I know that.
It's just Billy Madison, man. It's Eric. Do that little creepy laugh.
Ethics can be summarized with the yeah.
The thing about ethics and business. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just so gung ho because
take it easy, psycho. You lost.
He is set on seeing a merman. Yeah. He just wants a merman.
Those things are terrifying.
Yeah, Jenkins is trying his best to be like, it's all right, buddy. One of these days, they'll get picked. And of course, he's going to be trying to survive, every hell on earth trying to kill him, which includes, unicorns with horns.
Oh, man. Busting out raps over there. Unicorns with horns.
Yeah, killer clowns, but he's going to get taken out by the merman, which Liz looks up. Oh, come on.
Perfect. It's perfect comedic timing. Plus the blowhole of blood. It's all, you have to have a very specific sense of humor. You really have got to not take your horror too fucking seriously.
That, to me, screams like the spirit of K&B.
Oh, yeah. It is, 100%. And so, but Jenkins gets mine because, we kept talking about him, and I was like, oh, man, you're going to have the same as me. But, it is essentially the same. Both of the engineers.
These guys.
Because just like the director, shout out to Sigourney Weaver,
Yeah.
She's basically saying, like,
perfect cameo.
You're all interchangeable. None of you fucking matter. The whore, the jock, the fool, the stoner, the virgin, and
works
she's like,
works for the office folks too.
Yeah, I'm not a virgin. What you know? What doesn't matter. We work
with what we have.
Yeah, and it's the formula. And which blows my mind that it was written in 3 days because it's so
right. Doesn't that both flabbergast and anger you? It's
hammered. I like that has to be like the best 3-day writing session. Like is it more than one writer? Because it would have to have been like a party. Like, imagine you and me sitting around going, oh, you know what's, like, hilarious is when they do this and when they, like...
I feel we could come up with something in 3 days, but
we would have the
this
whiteboard.
hammered out to this detail
Yeah.
and this well in 3 days. That's where I like, whoa.
We would have the whiteboard like they have, like,
It-
just
oh,
with
we-
all of our weird spider web.
it would be the Pepe Silvia board, 100%.
It would. All of our little spider webs that go to different things, and we go, and that references this, which is a deep cut to this, which is then a deep cut to this, which is why this is funny to people like us. It's phenomenal. So those two in particular, I almost gave it to the security guard that gets the detail, you know, because at first he's like, nope, I'm not betting it, like, but then the more they joke, you see him kind of crack and laugh a little bit, like he's this, I'm a soldier, I'm here to defend my post kind of guy, but he also, because he's human, and that's what I like the most about this movie, is as silly as it is and as like just preposterous as it is, especially for like taking all of our horror tropes and ripping into them, we're giving humanity to those oddball characters, and it feels like it's a real job, you know. It genuinely feels like you clock in and you go in and do your thing.
I listened to another podcast that said it, and I agree. It's like in an episode of Scrubs, where they have an episode where they're kind of a few characters are dealing with the fact of making really crude jokes, and it's Dr. Cox who has to tell them, like, see this room full of people, they're gonna say goodbye to that family member in the bed. You think anyone else in that room is going back to work today? It's like, we have to do that, so we do that to keep our sanity. It's Steve Hofstetter, the comedian, said it best. It's gallows humor, and it's important to have gallows humor. Otherwise, you just go crazy, and that's not just for, you know, police and hospital and trauma workers. That's good everyday kind of life thing advice to live by, because this world is designed to beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Rocky was talking about that, so he just missed, you know. Instead of constantly getting up and asking for more to get hit, you need the gallows humor too. Like, what are you getting sleepy?
Yeah, that's perfect. I don't think I've ever heard the term gallows humor.
Never heard gallows humor?
No, but that's pretty spot on, because literally on the ride bringing you down here, I was talking about some stuff where it's like, this is just how I approach these sort of things, is I got to make jokes out of them.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've had a few tattoo designs I was going to do that was for gallows humor, because I feel it's a necessary thing to have, and it's weird. It's like prison, I guess, in a way. Like, unless you are also gone through some shit, then you kind of get it. But if you haven't, or just outside that bubble, you'll just looking like prick.
Yeah, you won't understand. So you'll.
Like, oh, he's an uncaring bastard.
Sometimes. Does that mean we have to move? Since we've done the Brown Panty Award, do we need to move on to some of these newer segments?
Yeah, I was just getting ready to be like, don't we have another one of your new segments here?
Yeah.
One of two?
Yeah, we'll transform and roll on out to the
Diddly-doo, diddly-doo, diddly-doo,
Perfect
diddly-doo.
Execution Award.
You're gonna die, clown!
Perfect! What in the world?
Is the Perfect Execution Award?
Yeah. Okay, it sounds pretty self-explanatory, but just in case I'm
For the
4 years
newbies?
old today, or newbies,
Yeah.
what the hell is an execution award?
The Perfect Execution Award is where you and I each give an award to a character who got it the best, who dies the best, some form of death that we truly, truly love. Not to be confused with the Brown Panty Award, where the Brown Panty Award goes to someone who we don't want to die.
We generally feel like, oh, man.
Yeah, we're bummed when we give the Brown Panty Award to someone we're bummed that passes away. The Perfect Execution is a kill. For an example, Trent from the Friday the 13th remake.
No. You were thinking Trent. I was close. I was thinking Trey from Freddy vs. Jason.
Oh, yeah. He
gets stabbed 101 times and folded in.
Yeah, well, yeah, he deserves it. What did I tell you about
That's weird.
touching me after I smoked?
Jason's killing two guys with T names, and we're both thinking of different movies.
Bunch of fucking punks. So, yeah, we're going to give an award to someone who we just feel deserves it in this movie. And, yeah.
And who to you deserves it?
originally my award was going to go to the blonde girl.
Yeah.
Because, you know, she's breaking the cardinal sin. She is bearing all, which essentially gets you smoked.
Those are the rules.
But I think, to be different, I'm going to give my Perfect Execution Award to the world.
Oh.
Because the ancient ones rise and kill everybody. So... And like you said, we're not normally ones for downer endings, but it feels appropriate. Appropriate in this movie because even though it's a downer ending, it's still like, wow, that was fun.
Yeah.
Which is a hard thing to accomplish.
It's just missing like the Return of the Living Dead, like the best of like
Do
during
you
the
want
credits.
a pot?
Yeah. Like that, and then like doing all the top quotes from the entire movie. That would just, you know, that makes killing everybody more okay. If you end it like a sitcom.
Yeah. Over an instrumental of Party Time by 45 Grave, yeah.
Yeah. I'm giving mine, it's not because I want to see this particular person die.
Okay.
But when I saw that the unicorn was a killing creature, I was like, in my head, as soon as I was like, I've got to see what this is about. Because, like, is it trampling? Is it what I really want? I really want, of course, someone stabbed with a unicorn horn. I'm like, I've got to see this in action.
Just Michael Myers is that dude to the wall.
Yeah, it's like, it's got to kill somebody. So, the unlucky fellow who rolled the snake eyes dice and got the unicorn kill, that's it. Because I was... You get a lot of murder in this movie during the finale, and that's when I was just like, come on. I felt like a Hot Tub Time Machine when they're waiting for that dude, for Crispin Glover to lose his arm, and he's like, finally, this has got to be it.
Oh, that's perfect. That's a perfect analogy. I mean, we've talked a lot, but yeah, just real quick. I mean, the ending to this movie, all the carnage that ensues is incredible. Like,
yeah, and for being probably 90% CG,
I don't even care.
Yeah, like it's not the best, it's not the worst.
Yeah, I've definitely seen bad CG. Like the worst CG in the ending to this movie, I'd say, is the big bat, and he's not even bad. It's not even that bad.
Yeah, the hand looks a little
PS3 ish,
like cartoony.
Yeah, because it's like cracked and has the lava in the cracks and stuff.
Like looks like a Mickey Mouse glove or something.
Yeah, but even I think that's part of why the ending is, you end and you go, oh, that was kind of fun. You know what I mean? It's like the rock hand that takes Jason to hell. Like,
yeah, I was going to ask because we have the Sigourney Weaver cameo at the end, and it's awesome to see her. Just off the top of your head, do you think it would hinder or benefit the movie if it was one of those movies like we talk about that's just full of all those actors we know? Like if we had like
Doug Bradley as the Harbinger at the gas station, and
no, let's actually go as it is, like more like on the nose. Let's say you put, because Gunnar Hansen, I believe, was still with us in 2011.
Yeah,
Gunnar Hansen is that Harbinger. Have Robert Englund and Kane Hodder as our office workers. Put Bruce Campbell as a custodian or something in the office. Like, just fill it with all these people. Put Elvira or whoever running like a receptionist desk. Put Joe Bob in there.
That's not, honestly, that's not bad. And
because every other time we see that, we're like, terrible.
Yeah, we're like,
terrible
fuck
idea.
you, Death House, or yeah, it's called Death House, right?
Yeah.
That's the prime example. That's the one I go to all the time of like, fuck you for lying about all these people.
The plot is we have all these horror actors in one movie.
Yeah, they're in town for the same convention. Let's get them. You know, that's bullshit. And it's trash. It's pure trash. Doing that for Cabin in the Woods would work solely because it's a tribute / it's not a parody. I refuse to call this a parody.
No.
It's a horror movie. But
no. Scary Movie's a parody.
Yeah, this is walking up a line where that's 100% acceptable. 100% acceptable.
I've got a better casting for you for our two engineers.
Okay.
How do you feel about this?
Tom Hanks and Rick Dukeman.
Ted and Sam.
Yeah. Or at the very least, Ted. You know.
Or Sam and
Yeah.
Bruce.
Yeah. Ted, like, yeah.
I would
don't-
love to see Ted and Sam as those engineers.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a good enough grasp on Sam Raimi's acting chops.
We've seen Intruder.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I mean, because
Top-notch.
he doesn't do much in Intruder.
No.
Ted, on the other hand, has had plenty of time to chew on some dialogue. I mean, he was
He's always
Joxer
goofy.
on Hercules or Xena.
And he's always a goober, though.
Yeah, and
It's
him
like Walter Goggins.
Yeah, so Walton Goggins. Yeah,
That's a Walter.
yeah.
Walter
That
Walton.
Walter is too nice of a name for Walton. He
Yeah,
looks
like-
like a Walton.
Yeah, I like that meme going around. It's like Walter Goggins. He looks like Walton Goggins.
Yeah.
Gogglins.
Gogglins.
Gogglins. I'm Walter Gogglins. That's our Dollar General Walton Goggins. I'll constantly fuck that up.
Yeah,
We can never do a Goggins picture.
Walter
anymore.
Goggins. That's real good.
That's gonna be an Alias 1 star in
I-
there. Walter Goggins.
I really like that though. I like, yeah, a Bruce and a Ted. But yeah, the possibilities are limitless because if you were to do that, if like say you did a prequel, then you have all those different, you have the chem lab, so you can,
Yeah.
you got whoever you can put in there. You got Annie Potts or whoever, Rick Moranis.
I like who they put in this one because she's also from the Buffyverse. She was on that show. So I was like, Fred.
Yeah, but then you bring in, she's in American Pie, and in You Might Be the Killer. What's her name? She was on Buffy also, the redhead girl,
Oh, Allison Hannigan.
Allison Hannigan. She's good, and she's kind of like a horror alum a little bit.
So you're going like Charisma Carpenter? Oh, no.
But yeah, you bring in those kind of people to fill in those departments, and then we imagine like an Office style show
Yeah.
that's that company. Like I'm all for that. Like, oh man,
Oh yeah.
quarterly reviews are coming up, and it's like,
Those sacrifices are being done.
yep. Then that gives us our little mini
It's
half hour, 45-minute horror movies.
you are borderline like on the last season of Buffy with that shit because Angel like in the last season and the entire series he fights a law firm.
I don't
Fights a
know.
law firm, and that law firm deals, of course, with all kinds of dark entities and shit. Grave robbing.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember what they called like their euphemism for grave robbing.
Dude,
But it's very much like I can see them. It's not a massive jump from what they were doing, particularly in the last season of Angel, where he literally takes over that law firm. To that kind of dialogue that transfers over to this because it's very much in the same ballpark.
I had never really like pulled the trigger on any of those, but like now, like
I don't know if at a 40-year-old if Buffy will have the same hold.
I mean, I like the movie, so but I mean,
I like the show, and man, did it get better to me, like from the last two, seasons 6 and 7. And Angel, I initially was like, I'm not interested in watching this at all. And I ended up, once I started watching it, I was like, oh, I like this I think I like this more.
well, like
And it's only 5 seasons.
it's tough too. Like I don't know what I want to call it, like bite-sized horror. You know what I mean? Like where I can get my dose of horror in like 45 minutes. But the issue is
Quick standalones.
Yeah, but the issue is long-running seasons, long-running shows, because then you really get looped in, and you're like, well, here I go, and it ends up kind of like eating everything up that all your time.
And in the Buffy verse, if you really, I know you had an issue with the will they, won't they kind of thing in Scrubs. Oh man, does he love this pushing that? Imagine just stretching that out even further for
14
years
seasons
among many characters. Yeah,
I'm good.
That's essentially what. But I mean, it's still. I'd say jump in with Angel if you're gonna watch one of those two shows.
Right on.
So speaking of that, this other segment that you come up with, what's it about?
Yes. So the next segment that we're gonna hop into is it's kind of fitting for this movie specifically. I mean, well, for all horror movies, but this movie's kind of playing on all the tropes that we know and love.
Tropes.
Yeah, my favorite word.
I love it.
And one of those is always like the character who tells you, like, well, this is a bad idea, this is stupid, this is wrong. Here's some rules on how you would survive this situation. So, the next segment, we're going to take a little look at our handy-dandy horror movie survival book written by the one and only Walter Paisley. And we're going to give you one survival tip on how to survive the cabin in the woods.
Maybe if you look at it this way.
You got it upside down.
Yeah. Because you got to read the text this way for this movie. Because
Sumerian.
Yeah, Sumerians are better read upside down. When it comes to major celebrations or breaks in school, stay the fuck home.
Yeah. No camping.
There's no reason to go to the woods to get your freak on. Just put a sock on the door.
Rent an Airbnb. Actually, no, because that could be in the woods. Yeah, steer clear of holiday treks.
I say our hotels like just, vacancy.
Yeah.
Yeah, just stay home.
Stay out of the cabin in the woods.
Just like Evil Dead. Like, we don't need to take this hours-long road trip to a place with zero electricity and probably excessive heat and or cold.
And horse shit all over or pig shit everywhere.
Yeah. Well, good luck eating room temperature food because that's all we have.
Gross.
Or cold, slightly getting warmer from the cooler.
That's disgusting.
Nice lukewarm sandwiches.
Yep. Until tomorrow when they're spoiled.
Yep, then we gotta go, I don't know, catch some squirrels or something.
So that's the inaugural
survival tip.
The
first of many survival tips.
From Walter Paisley.
Sometimes writing Sumerian, sometimes English.
But I suppose since we're done with that, it's time to move on to the next to last segment, Evil.
One of the classics, those Amazon 1-star reviews.
Cue it.
Hated it.
Format has changed and you're actually able to see me this time, so I'm not going to be reading as many 1-stars, but I'll thumb through. I thumbed through as many as I could find, and like what one I feel kind of is
encapsulates it.
Yeah, I was like, what just summarizes something that I would love to see on the back cover of this movie. So Annie Lewis on December 4th, 2023 says 1 star. In the trash can. Couldn't get past 10 minutes. It was poor.
10 minutes?
10 minutes.
10 minutes is still the engineer. No.
You're past probably. You're
okay,
probably...
she's in her underwear. It's like right when the stoner shows up. And you're in your underwear.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
You're getting introduced to 2 core groups of people. Nothing has happened.
You have awesome characters to start with. You
underwear.
You have you have a girl in her underwear that's in college, not creepy and in high school like, Carrie.
Yeah. You got
and
Thor.
you get this awesome little gadget of a bong that transforms into a fucking thermos.
Yeah.
It's a, what do they call it? The Stanley Cup.
Yeah. Oh, the Stanley Cup thing. That's over now.
Now it's just the original Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Hoping the Oilers take because they're the underdogs this year.
But we
Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers. Who do you think should win a hockey contest between Floridians and Canadians?
Canadians.
Exactly.
They really have ice?
Yeah, the Oilers are the underdogs. Bullshit.
I don't know. But we did not talk about the one... Like, this is one of my favorite things in the movie, and it's before any action kicks off, and it's when we're first introduced to Thor. Because my wife and I say this all the time, and this really dates us. This makes us super old. We are old. But there used to be this like PSA back in the day about like drinking or doing drugs, and it was always like the parent catching the kid doing drugs, and they'd be like, where did you get these? Who taught you about these? And then the kid would always go, I learned it from watching you, and like run out of the room. And it's like, kids emulate
Parents
their
who use drugs.
Yeah.
And then there's children who use drugs.
Yeah. And they...
Dude has like one of those like curly, like balding haircuts with a mustache.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You just see like the red under his eyes. Like he's just like either been crying or he's about to start
He's
crying.
a poor man's Stephen Wright. Like...
if Stephen Wright was a drug addict that had a 15-year-old child that caught him.
But they nail that weird like PSA in this movie. It's hilarious.
I can't wait for that to be like another probably 15 years from now, because I feel like they'll probably look and be like, oh gosh, you remember when weed was just such like an illegal substance to have?
We're right there on the cusp, man. Like,
It's
I
getting
think
there.
Iowa's like the only place where it's like, no, you can't have this. I think. And I think, but I don't want to get political, but I think like that's...
I mean, it's just the evolution of things. Like, well, what movie was it? Psycho. The first time you see a toilet on camera, like
Flush, a toilet
flush. Okay, just something like that. Of like, can you imagine? Like, it was taboo for this then, and to get to the point where, like, remember when that was an illegal substance? Like, oh shit.
Yeah. By the time we're 80, like, people are going to be like riding their whatever, their segways.
Segways.
It'd just be like
I don't think those are coming back.
I don't know. Whatever the hell people will be driving.
Hoverboards.
Yeah, hoverboards and just blazing that shit all day with Sloan Kettering.
Those boats don't work on water.
Anybody can do that. You just have to have flippers and get out and run real fast. That's a Sasquatch Gang reference, deep cut. But now
Again with
that...
the Sasquatch Gang.
Which you're going to watch shortly.
I will watch it.
And
I'll watch it.
And you're going to love it.
We'll see.
I guarantee it. I guarantee with my entire heart. But on that note, Evil, it's time to move on to the final segment of the show. So,
I still don't know how I feel about this yet, but I'm used to being able to do this without you seeing my face necessarily, but I guess we gotta over the top this thing and we gotta play the prop game.
It's time to play the game. The prop game.
It's all about the game and how you play it. I'm gonna go read a book with pictures.
Pop-Tarts? Did you say Pop-Tarts? I know I've said that twice already in this podcast, but I don't care. That's right. It's time to play the game. And if you're new here, welcome. But you're probably scratching your head asking yourself, what's the game? Well, the game is a deep cut in and of itself, where you got to pick a prop from the movie that we are covering, but it can't be a well-known prop. It's Cabin in the Woods. I don't know what's considered a well-known prop.
Probably the one that I want.
If it is, whatever. We make the rules. We, we set the tone. So, we're going to pick a weird prop from the movie, and that's just how it's going to go. So you do the same. You let us know in the comments on the podcast. Let us know in the comments on the YouTube video. Let us know on Discord, Patreon, wherever you find us. Facebook, it doesn't matter. Let us know. We want to know. So do it.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter what your name is. That's a Stone Cold Steve Austin reference. Deep cut.
Or
I
The
said,
Rock.
what? Well, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's The Rock. My bad. Wrong wrestler. I fucked that up. I botched that like a bad wrestling move.
But in all fairness, they were both excessively like the top hot
It doesn't
acts of their
matter.
time.
Yeah. I just had to do it in the voice. It doesn't matter.
I always wondered if he meant to say it that way or if he actually fucked up. Because I had that on tape as original. It was like a Sunday Night Heat. He's talking about Billy Gunn. And he's like, Bob, but my name's Billy. It doesn't matter what your name is. He's mocking like Billy Gunn praying to God. And I've always wondered, like, did he mean to say that kind of shit? Because that was back when there were not like scripted promos. He's just probably winging most, if not all of that shit. So like, I wonder if he actually like fucked up and said Bob instead of Billy and had to like improvise on a fucking dime. What am I gonna say to that? And then it just became like just a funny catchphrase.
And yeah, it ran.
It worked
for a long time.
It didn't live as long as the what has, but it's still there.
I suppose I'll go first because I'm pretty sure I know what yours is because we've spent some time discussing it.
But I have a standby just in case it's too low hanging a fruit.
I refuse to say it's low hanging fruit. So my prop is gonna be a little weird, and I might be able to. I think I've told you this before,
Probably,
but it might not have. I might not have. So
I might have.
I might have. Pest reference, deep cut. The prop I'm picking is going to be the werewolf costume in this movie. Do you happen to know why? Do you remember why?
Because it looks like Peach Fuzz from Creep.
No.
No.
Sidebar, which is why I'm picking this prop.
Yeah.
If you go and you watch the credits to this movie,
Yes.
and you look at the amount of effects artists involved, because they had so many creatures, they were getting help from everybody. Do you remember who made the werewolf?
Not a clue.
This is about to blow your mind.
All right. Crack
Heather-
open that egg of knowledge and pour it on my face.
Heather Langenkamp.
Oh, yes, because I know she...
And her husband.
Yes, yeah.
And she's
I remember
listed,
seeing her name on the Dawn of the Dead
Yep.
04.
She's
yeah.
listed in the credits
Yes.
as...
Her
it's
other
like-
name.
It's Heather L. and something. Like
Yeah,
whatever her
husband's last name is. His effects company.
Yeah. So, yeah, she's listed
Yeah.
in the credits, but you got to be eagle eye.
Yeah.
Because if you just see Heather L., you're like, who the
Yeah.
fuck? Who gives a shit? But I knew because years and years back when she was at Crypticon for the first time, and my wife and I had to kind of take her around. I think we took her to get her hair cut and maybe her get her makeup done, and like we just talked about a lot of
Rub
stuff.
it in, why don't you?
Sorry. I still have the instructions, the directions she printed out to get to the haircut place if you want them. They were hers.
Wow, she's that old school. She printed out.
They were
her,
literal paper
She
instructions.
map-quested it.
I've got them. They're all yours, baby.
I've
They
got
got her. They got her DNA on them.
I can clone my own Heather Langenkamp.
You sure can. That's my gift to you. But I mean, it's a weird thing to me because she's known primarily as an actress, but she definitely has some sculpting chops. I mean, you don't marry an effects artist and be in a lab, day in and day out with guys pushing around clay and whatever, and not dabble.
Get curious.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You're going to dabble, you're going to fuck around. And apparently, she's wicked talented. And I just kind of feel like that's a neat little tie-in, a nice little feather in our cap to be like, man, we got the werewolf suit
That
that
you
her,
made.
yeah, her and her husband made. Like, that's kind of gangster.
Yeah.
That's beyond your Elm Street, beyond your whatever TV show she was on where she was the teenage
Just
girl.
the 10 of us?
Just the 10 of us. Yeah.
Beyond her Nancy Kerrigan biopic she did. Like,
Yeah.
The mid-90s, which I was like, oh, she's the perfect Nancy Kerrigan.
Yeah, so that's my prop pick because it's different.
It is different.
It's a weird one. So
It is. It ain't no surprise. I want the thermos just for that is just a cool novelty. But if that's too low hanging a fruit and just too like, oh come on, like yeah.
zombie arm.
I want the whiteboard with all the different
Yeah.
potentialities on it. Like no, this is redneck zombie torture family.
Oh, maintenance.
different.
They pick the same thing every year. What do you want from me? If they were smart, they wouldn't be in maintenance.
Again, that and it's one of those things where you Paul used to want to read everything on the board, and it's crazy
Yeah.
to do it. And I challenge him. Right?
Yep.
Challenge to not have the impulse to want to pause and read some of those when that comes on the screen. 'Cause
Or at
it's
least pause when it's all the cubes and look at
that.
stuff.
Yeah, it's one of those two. You're gonna be like you're just too compelled not to.
Which this broke me the other day when we were rewatching it. And it wasn't even because we were covering it. It was just because it was a movie we wanted to watch. When they did that wide shot of all the cubicles, my wife goes, "That's not how elevators work." And I just fucking could not stop laughing because I'm like, yeah, like, how are those don't move that. They can't move like that. And it was just, now I'm forever like,
You're
how
fucked
many?
up on how the elevators work, and I was fucked up on how the stoner was able to like rewire the fucking elevator from inside. Like, what are you, MacGyver?
He's high. He's just pushing 2 cables together until something happened.
Not on my best day. Would I know what the hell to do if you just ripped open an elevator panel and I would just be staring at it and like...
Cut the black wire. Or the red wire, right?
I just... it looked very familiar to this. Should probably not have been removed.
Yeah, it's... I mean, we are very far from Jeff Daniels and Keanu
Speed.
Reeves. Yeah. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. We're just cutting cables and hoping that we don't blow up.
Which I love. I posted about that the other day that I can't remember what country it's in, but the language is different for the movie title. And instead of speed, it's called fart.
And that's not made up.
No, it's legit. I had to look. I like saw the post. I was like, then I shared it. Then I did the complete irresponsible move. Like maybe I should have looked that up before I just went ahead and just shared it. Well, I looked it up. I was like, oh yeah, that is that language.
The fact check bubble pops up like you.
Yeah. That I was like, I gotta see if that interpretation is legitimate. I want to say Norwegian, but I'm not sure.
I wonder if fact check bubbles will pop up on our podcast at some point. Like, these guys are wrong. Don't listen to these guys.
I mean, that's not a bad like editing like bonus idea.
Yeah.
Like, pop up video, some VH1 pop up the video.
These guys are idiots. This is the actual fact. Don't
Just
listen.
have a running scroll across the bottom of.
Oh yeah, like news. Like
Yeah.
Those rescue stations are closed down.
Yeah, the emergency stations, where to go to. By the way, they're talking about Cabin in the Woods made in 2011 by so-and-so, so-and-so, grossed X amount of money.
Stations in Zillionople. It's only about 20 miles.
I saw a werewolf in the hallway yesterday. His haircut was fabulous.
I suppose on that note, we should probably get going because, after all, there's a lot of movies out there and somebody's got to watch them. So why not us, right?
Pop-Tarts? Did you have to say Pop-Tarts?
Thank you for listening to the Deep Cut Podcast. There's a new episode every 2 weeks. Fun. You can find it on Spotify and all major podcast apps. Don't forget to let us know your topic. Every 2 weeks, there's a new episode. So rate us and subscribe to the Deep Cut Podcast. There's a new episode every 2 weeks. Fun, yeah. You can find it on Spotify and all major podcast apps. Don't forget to let us know your topic. Every 2 weeks, there's a new episode. So rate us and subscribe to the Deep Cut Pod, to the Deep Cut Pod. You can find it on Spotify and all major podcast apps. Don't forget to let us know your topic. Every 2 weeks, there's a new episode. So rate us and subscribe to the Deep Cut Pie. To the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Pod, to the Deep Cut Pod. To the Deep Cut Pod, to the Deep Cut Pod. To the Deep Cut Pod, to the Deep Cut Pod. To the Deep Cut Pod. To the Deep Cut Pod, to the Deep Cut Pod. To the Deep Cut Pod, to the Deep Cut Pod. To the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Pod. 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 To the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Pod. To the Deep Cut Pod. To the Deep Cut Podcast. So rate us and subscribe to the Deep Cut Pike. To the Deep Cut Pike.